All right, take a comfortable seat, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in. Let it go. I stumbled across to me, a very interesting poem, so that's going to be the basis of our theme today. And I'll start reading it to you momentarily, and we'll kind of break it apart together. Inhale again, take the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Pausing here, set your intention for your practice. When you're ready, release the hands. All right, fingertips to the ground. Take the shoulders up, back and down, and then we'll resettle the fingertips there if they came away from the earth. Lengthen through the spine. And then let's drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Deep breath in. Big sigh. And then bring the head to center. Inhale. Exhale to the other side, big sigh. Inhale, center. Take the right ear to the right shoulder again, and then turn the chin down toward that shoulder. Deepen the breath. And bring the head to center. Other side, left ear down to the shoulder. Make sure your shoulders don't rise to meet the ear. Chin toward the left shoulder. And back to center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Releasing the hands anywhere you want to. Take the shoulders up, back and down. Give me two more. Really feel the shoulder blades pulling in towards each other. Shoulder blades moving apart as the shoulders drop around and come forward. All right, shake that off. Left hand, you're going to sit on it. Left hand is going underneath the left sit bone. Okay, now go ahead and drop the right ear to the right shoulder. So perhaps that feels a little different. You might notice more of a stretch in the neck. You might actually feel that going down the arm. We're going to do the same thing. Keep the head tilted, but turn the chin toward the shoulder. You can even lean away a little bit to the right so you can get more stretch if you need it. Good job. Come on back to center. Breathe the left hand, sit on the right one. And then left ear to the shoulder. And again, you can start tipping a little bit to the left if you want, just to get a little more stretch. And then take the chin down toward left shoulder. And then come back to center. Go ahead and free the right hand. And let's stretch out the legs here for a moment. You can shake them out. Flex the feet. Hands by the hips, staff pose, Dandasana. If 90 degrees at the hips isn't good for you, sit up on the edge of a rolled up blanket. I want you to consciously be present with the length in the spine, with the shoulders over the hips. Don't change that. You're going to probably want to, but don't do it. Lift the right leg up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We'll let the leg come back down. All right, and then just float the left one up. It knows its turn. Breathe. And let it go. Take both arms up. Exhale to the heart. Make sure the feet are flexed. We're hinging forward into a fold. Let the hands find the earth first. Move around as you make your way down. You can bend the knees. And then let's make our way back. Okay. So let's come on down onto our backs for a moment. We're going to start off with something restorative. Grab a prop along the way. It doesn't matter to me what you grab. Bolster, blanket, block, anything. I think I'll grab a block. And then we're going to stretch out the left leg. I'm going to move my prop to the left. I'm going to catch my right knee or right thigh when I come into my twist. So let's first hug that right leg in. Inhale. We're going to straighten out the arms, pushing the knee into the hands. Exhale. Hold that thigh down toward the ribs. Keep going. One more. Remember that when you take your supine twist, the opposite shoulder from the way you're twisting stays on the mat. So right shoulder blade stays down. Go ahead and take the twist across the body. Let your leg land on the prop. I mean, if your leg makes it to the floor with the shoulder on the ground, that's fine. But you might as well exercise compassion and use a prop. A couple of deep breaths and then just relax and let go. Relax. When you're relaxing, make sure none of the body parts are tight or hanging on or holding themselves up. And I think perhaps I'll start off with at least half of this poem while you're on this side. So this is by Carol Bialock, and I really like the title. I don't know why. It's called Breathing Underwater. So I don't know, I guess you could hear that title and want to gasp for air, but let's kind of see where the poem is heading. It goes like this. I built my house by the sea, not on the sands, mind you, not on the shifting sand. And I built it of rock, a strong house by a strong sea. And we got well acquainted, the sea and I, good neighbors. Not that we spoke much. We met in silence, respectful, keeping our distance, but looking our thoughts across the fence of sand, always the fence of sand, our barrier, always the sand between. And then one day, and I still don't know how it happened, the sea came without warning, without welcome even, not sudden and swift, but as shifting across the sand like wine, less like the flow of water than the flow of blood, slow, but coming, slow, but flowing like an open wound. And I thought of flight, and I thought of drowning, and I thought of death. And while I thought, the sea crept higher, till it reached my door. And I knew then there was neither flight, nor death, nor drowning. That when the sea comes calling, you stop being neighbors, well acquainted, friendly at a distance neighbors, and you give your house for a coral castle, and you learn to breathe underwater. When you're ready, I want you to roll onto your back, stretch out the right leg, grab your prop, move it to the other side. And then just closing your eyes here for a moment. We're lying on our backs. I want you to imagine that we're on the bottom of the ocean. We're on that sandy ocean floor. And the water's above us, but we're breathing. We're not drowning, as the poem said. We're breathing. I want you to find a stillness here. And, this potentially, I suppose, could tap into some fears. I want you to counter them. So if you're afraid of the dark, and that's what you're picturing, can you see the sunlight streaming in from above and letting that light filter all the way down to where you are, right? And if it's what lurks in the ocean, perhaps, that you fear, why do they have to be present? Why can't it just be you? And the stillness of the water, and the sand, and the light. You're going to go ahead and hug that left knee in. And again, inhale, you're straightening out the arms. Exhale, pull the leg in. The leg is helping you expel all that air. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. And then when you're ready, being conscious of the left shoulder blade staying down as you take your twist across the body to the right. Allowing that left leg to rest on your prop. So, I don't even remember how I stumbled on this poem. I've never seen it before. Maybe it was, again, like I said, the title that caught my attention. Just something about it I liked. And I suppose there are probably a plethora of meanings and symbolism that we can pull apart. So this is just my version, or how I interpreted the poem. But I think maybe how we react to this poem might have to do a little bit with how we interpret our own visions of the ocean or being under the ocean, right? Sometimes, I think sometimes if someone were to say, visualize an ocean, well, maybe we see it as very calm with these waves that are lolling in and gently crawling up on the shore and pulling back. But I can imagine that other times we might picture a stormy ocean or a mad one, or one that's got really large waves, and when it hits the beach, it is a crash and there's foam flying everywhere, right? And then what comes after that? There's an undertow, right? So sometimes maybe we visualize being sucked in by the undertow, like if that's what life feels like for us right then and there. Or it might have something to do with the depth of the ocean. Maybe a fear of uncertainty. Where's the bottom? I can't see it. I can't see what's lurking in the water or swimming in the water. Or have you ever stood in the ocean and something brushes up against you and you freak out and it just turns out to be like a piece of seaweed, right? It's just the uncertainty. And so the poem starts off, I built my house by the sea, not on the sands, mind you, not on the shifting sand. I like how the author is talking to us, right? And she's making sure to clarify, I'm not dumb enough to build my house on the shifting sand. So I'm not too close to the water, right? Because that's where the water is soft and it sinks. She's saying, I have thought this through and I've laid a foundation. She says, I built it of rock, a strong house by a strong sea. So when I get to that part, I'm thinking earth elements. So we've got the rock, we've got the water. She says it's a strong sea. So I can feel that energy, can you? And again, with the house being built of rock, we have laid a very solid foundation. I'm feeling pretty good about my house. How about you? Right? Then she goes on to talk, it goes into this part about being a neighbor, right? We got well acquainted, the sea and I, good neighbors, not that we spoke much. And I think that's interesting too, because I bet when you're picturing in your mind's eye your good neighbors, you probably talk a lot. But how often do you sit in silence? And is it perhaps in the silence that we share with someone that we connect with vulnerability and more of the soul connection, right? It's one thing to keep chattering about your day and about life events and small talk, and it's another, I think, perhaps to just hold space. All right, I'm gonna let you pause there. Give me a deep breath in. Please return to your back when you have a moment. Stretch out the left leg. Close your eyes. I want to go back to lying on the ocean floor. And I in no way want this to feel oppressive. I just want you to feel a very gentle, hugging, nurturing pressure of the water that is all around you and on top of you. Not stifling, it's not smothering. It's reassuring. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's reassuring. Can you feel that gentle weight? Almost like maybe you like weighted blankets, kind of like that, right? There's a reassurance there, comfort. So we're good neighbors, not that we spoke much. We met in silences. So can you imagine just standing on the beach, reconnecting with the water and the ocean? You don't have to say anything. Just feel that connection. Breathe it in, taste the salty air. Respectful, keeping our distance. So I feel like I have an understanding of how powerful this ocean is. Although it did make me kind of stop and think, why is the ocean respectful of keeping its distance from me? I don't know if I came up with an answer for that. Maybe you have one. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And then go ahead and roll to a side in a fetal position. We'll pause there before we make our way up in a moment. So respectful keeping our distance, but looking our thoughts across the fence of sand, always. The fence of sand, our barrier. As I picture that, I'm thinking about the sand. Remember she says at the beginning, it's a shifting sand. So to me, that barrier can crumble. And if we were to venture across it, perhaps our foundation gives way. And so we stay on our sides, our respective sides. All right, go ahead and slowly push your way up. I want to come on over into table. When you're ready, let's inhale the right arm up. Exhale. You're going to slowly sweep it down and underneath you. Bring the shoulder and right ear all the way to the earth. The hips stay right above the knees. Option A, stay right here. Option B, left arm is going to reach way overhead, and then I'm going to walk the fingers back a little so my arm comes just behind my ear, if that's possible for you. It might not be, and that's okay. Couple of deep breaths. And then a third option, if either option A's or B's want to take this, take the left arm, bring it around behind your back, and again, this is going to be different for all of us. As I bring it around behind my low back, I'm hooking the fingers on top of my right thigh. If your hand doesn't get there, it doesn't get there. That isn't the point. The point is we get this arm behind us so that now we can pull back that left shoulder, and you might be able to gently take your gaze to the ceiling. Please practice ahim, so don't go too far. Nice job. On an exhale, we're going to release and push our way back up. Work it out, wiggle it out. We're going to tuck the toes, take this to downward facing dog. Walk this out as well. Give me a couple breaths there. I'm just turning around. All right, dropping the knees to the earth. When you're ready, inhale that left arm all the way up. Exhale, it's coming underneath you, bringing the shoulder and left ear to the earth. Option A, right hand stays in front of you where it was. Option B, right arm reaches way overhead and then tries to come just a little bit behind the ear. Stay here for a moment. And then option C, the right arm is coming around behind you. In theory, the fingertips might be able to grab onto the top of the left thigh or linger behind you. You could grab your shirt. Either way, we're just trying to pull back on that top elbow and maybe take the gaze slightly upward. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. Push back into child's pose, Balasana. All right, so always we have that sand in between us. And then, I guess kind of like life, you know, the expression about best made plans, right? And then one day, and I still don't know how it happened, right? Some of these challenges life tosses at us, we don't see coming. The sea came without warning, without welcome even. Not sudden and swift, but a shifting across the sand like wine, less like the flow of water than the flow of blood, slow but coming, slow but flowing like an open wound. And I thought of flight, so I thought of running, disappearing, taking off. I thought of drowning, and I thought of death. So think about Doesn't even have to be a really tough life challenge. Just sometimes these hurdles that get in our way, they can feel tremendous, right? And our mind is fabulous at writing worst case scenarios. So I can't even think of an example right now, but whatever example you're thinking of, right? The mind could go, well, I need to pack up and leave everybody and everything, or, you know, I'm going to drown in all of this work. This could lead to death, right? Our mind goes everywhere. Just like in this poem, I thought of all of that. And while I thought, right, because the mind is still racing, and it's going to unless we reel it back in. While I thought, the sea crept higher until it reached my door. So whatever life is tossing at us, it's getting deeper. And it is possible that we are so busy thinking of escape routes and worst case scenarios that we don't notice exactly what's going on around us. And I knew then there was neither flight nor death nor drowning. I'm not doing any of it. I can't do any of it. This water's at my door. That when the sea comes calling, you stop being neighbors, well acquainted, friendly at a distance neighbors, and you give your house for a coral castle. Okay, I'm going to tell you in a moment what that reminded me of. But first, let's come up out of Balasana, back into hands and knees. We're going to tuck the toes, take this to downward facing dog. Give me 3 deep breaths. Nice job. Walk the feet forward toward the hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale halfway to monkey, flat back. Exhale it back down. Inhale monkey, one more time. Flat back. And as you exhale down, we're going to walk the hands all the way back into plank here. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the knees down here. You can keep the toes tucked if you want to, or you can untuck them, that's up to you. When we're in modified plank, we're a straight line between the shoulders, right, and the knees. So I'm going to make this option A. So every time we come into plank, you go ahead and lower your knees if you want to. I'm just giving you the option so I don't have to keep repeating, lower your legs or lift your legs, yeah? If you want to, you keep the legs lifted. Either way, we're coming into chaturanga, so big inhale. Exhale, elbows bend, they stay alongside you, come all the way down. Inhale, lift into Cobra, Bhujangasana, close your eyes. Deep breath in, hold it. Exhale, let it go. And melt your way back down. Rest the forehead on the earth. I want to pause here a moment. So, I can think of a lot of different analogies for the ocean and what we're doing right now and what we just did. With the forehead on the ground, if you switch to Ujjayi breath or even just kind of, a deeper, louder sigh, doesn't the breath kind of sound like, it reminded me of 2 things. Kind of like when you hold a conch to your ear, and also when you're underwater and you're like snorkeling or something, that sound of the breath, I really want you to focus in on that and imagine we're under the water. And if you want to, you can feel the chaos that life is throwing at you, but I want you to recognize that we're breathing. And remember, we left off in the poem where it said that there is no flight, there's no drowning, there's no death. So we're not leaving. We're going to face this, right? So face it with your breath. Find your breath. And when you get to an inhale, let's imagine this big wave comes underneath our chest and pushes us back up into a cobra, whatever cobra looks like for you. I'm going to stay right here. And then what I really want to appreciate, sorry, I've got hair in my mouth. What I really want to appreciate is the silence. Remember, the two friends started out in silence. So, big inhale, exhale, hold the breath, and sit in that silence. And then breathe again when you need to. And we'll slowly drift down on a wave. Nice job. Push yourself all the way up into table. Tuck the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Hear the water and the waves. Wave comes underneath you, round through the spine, come forward into plank. You decide what kind of plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, come up on a wave into cobra. Hold it here. Breathe. And when you get to an exhale, empty the lungs, hold the breath. Nice. Go ahead and float back down. Left ear to the mat, straighten out the arms. While we're here, let's do a hip opener for the right hip. So just slide that right knee out to your side. You know, ideally 90 degrees at the hips, 90 at the knee, perhaps. And then just work on pushing that right hip down a little bit more towards the earth. And relax. Let's see where we left off here. Oh yeah, we gave up our house for a coral castle. So that made me think of Rumi's poem, The Guest House, right? Rumi's talking about there's a knock at the door, unexpected visitors, we invite them in, they stay for a while, we wait for them to leave, kind of, right? An analogy for emotions that we're not super excited to have appear. So I open the door and there's sadness, and it was unexpected, and I feel tearful. But I invite sadness in and I sit with it and we hold space together. And sadness is temporary, so at some point it leaves. But the key is that I invited it in. If I don't answer the door and I don't invite it in, it's going to stand out there pounding. It wants my attention. And so I see that in this poem, we gave up our house for a coral castle. We invited in the storm. We invited in the sea, the ocean, the waves. And then that last line, you learn to breathe underwater. And to me, that's all about being adaptable. Adaptable to what comes up in your life, as well as radical acceptance that the water has come in. The fish are now enjoying my couch. I've turned this into a coral castle, right? And maybe I could escape. Maybe I could run. Maybe I could swim away. But that doesn't change the state of my house. So I'm radically accepting that this is now what is. I adapt and find that I can learn to breathe underwater and be okay. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg. Turn the head to the other side. And then we'll take that left leg and do a hip opener. thing. When you're ready, straighten out that left leg. Let's replant the hands underneath the shoulders, bring the head back to center. And gently push your way back into table. A little sway here as though the waters have calmed down. As though we've become one with the movement of the water. We're going to tuck our toes and find downward facing dog. Nice job. Return the knees to the earth and step that right foot forward between the hands. And if you want your blocks, you can grab them. When you find your balance, let's go ahead and make our way up a little bit more gracefully and slowly than I just popped up. But find your way up to here, yeah? The half warrior A. We're going to inhale, take the arms up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Now, I want you to feel little nuances of shaking and wobbling here as you kind of counter to catch your balance. And if you're brave, perhaps you close your eyes. I just want you to imagine it's the water. It's just gently, it's testing you. It's pushing to see if you're going to push back, or are you going to just kind of move with the flow? Are you adaptable? And then option A, and you can always add a blanket under your, your knee on the earth if it's bothering you. Option A is going to be to stay right here. And then option B is going to be to take the left elbow outside of that right leg. Once I get there, I'm going to push my elbow into my leg to open up my heart. Breathe. Nice job. Gently unravel, return the hands to the earth. Step back to table. Wiggle it out. And then when you're ready, that left foot is stepping forward. I'm going to turn around again here. Left foot forward. Slowly, gracefully, with presence, make your way up. And again, I don't know, let's just tap into the balance, the movement of the water, the movement of life. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Option A is right here. Option B, right elbow to the outside of that left leg. Push into the leg to peel back that left shoulder. Are you smiling? Are you breathing? Remember, we can breathe underwater, so don't hold the breath. When you get to an exhale, let's let this go. Bring the hands back down. Pull that left knee back in. Cross the legs over each other so you can sit back. Right. Let's keep the knees bent, feet hip distance on the mat here for a moment. So I'm going to take my left hand behind me for support. I'm going to sit up tall first and then take the right arm. Let's just bring it all the way over to the outside of that left thigh. I don't need to really add very much here. I feel like even just pushing against my leg a little bit automatically pulls my left shoulder back and I can feel that twist. So go into this gracefully, just pushing the right arm against the leg, opening up the heart. You can turn your head to look behind you if you want. Breathe. And then we'll let this go. Bring the right hand behind you. Same thing, other arm, left arm's coming across. I'm going to sit up tall. And then as the arm's pushing into the leg, don't let the knees collapse, right? You're using that leg as leverage to find the twist and open up the heart. Gently release. Nice. Hands in front of the knees. As you sit up tall, we're doing our seated cat-cow. But as you sit up tall, I want you to add on a little bit. I want you to consciously lift the heart, let it move forward as you pull the shoulders back a little bit. I want you to feel the shoulder blades pulling in towards each other. It's hard to see because I unfortunately wear a black long sleeve shirt and can't see the nuances of my arms moving, but I'm sitting up, heart's moving forward, I'm pulling back with my arms, even though you don't see them slipping away from my knees. Shoulder blades are pulling in. And then slowly round this out into cow pose. Feel the recreation of space. Breathe into that. And then slowly make your way back up. Heart moves forward, pull the shoulder blades back. Exhale, gently round this out. And one more. I'll stay here, round it out. I'm just going to drop my hands to the earth and help guide my spine. All the way down. Straighten out the legs. Relax. Deep breath in, hold it. And let it go. My block still happens to be right next to me. If you have a prop nearby, let's go ahead and slip that gently under the head. It can be your pillow, your bolster, your blanket, your sweatshirt, anything. Just letting the ed, I mixed two words there, head and elevated. The ed be elevated, I guess is what I was going to say. I don't know. The head is elevated. I want you to breathe in calm and peace and stillness. And this time, I want you to imagine, we're not at the very bottom of the ocean. We're floating, we're underwater, but we're closer to the surface. That can be whatever you want it to be. I guess I'm visualizing like I'm 5 feet under. The sun is so bright in my eyes, the way I'm picturing this, that I know I'm near the surface. And it looks so crystal to me, crystal clear. And I can feel the water. It gently wants to move me around, and I'm okay with it. And I am ever so conscious of the fact that I'm easily breathing underwater. I feel good about that. I feel like I've become adaptable. That I have so accepted whatever's going on in my world that I can breathe in peace regardless. You have built a strong foundation. We cannot see the waves that come unexpectedly. But we can choose to stay calm, stay put, and breathe. You enjoy reconnecting with your ocean friend, your neighbor. And I'll see you on the other side of Shavasana. bring your awareness back to your breath. Recognizing that the breath has never left you, but perhaps your mind wandered away with it for a moment. Very gently invite some movement into the body. You're ready. Simply bring your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. A deep breath in, loud sigh. The light in me bows to the light in you. When I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.